Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This video is part of a series of videos taking a look at Cadence's blocks one by one. This video in particular is taking a look at the text block. To get started, let's open up a brand new blank page and look at this block on its own. There's a couple ways to do that. If you're on your front end, there's this top toolbar. Hover over New and click on Page. Alternatively, if you are on your dashboard, head over to your left-hand sidebar, hover down to Pages and click on Add Page. Just a few housekeeping things before we move forward. If this right-hand sidebar isn't here, there's a button beside Publish. It's called Settings. Just click on that. This is where all of our settings to toggle and configure for the block will appear. Next, let's give our page a title. Oops. Okay, and last but not least, let's add the block itself. There's this blue button here with the plus icon called the block inserter. Click on that, and you'll get all of your blocks right here. You can either search for it or scroll down, but since Kadence is right up top over here, we don't have to go too far. And as you can see, it's right here. Either click on that or drag and drop that anywhere within the workspace. And here we have our text advanced block. By default, it is set to heading 2. Okay, now we can set this as paragraph if we wanted to type things here like lorem ipsum, so on and so forth. And here we have heading number 1. So if you wanted, we're going to jump ahead here. If you wanted to have your text block as text by default, we can set it to paragraph, okay, or span or div. Head over to advanced, and then click on Save as Default. This will make it so that each time we drag and drop text, it's going to come out as paragraph. Alternatively, if you wanted it to come out as heading all the time, or span or div, you can do that. So that's skipping ahead, but it's important to know that that's how Kadence does its text blocks. Now let's go ahead and use this heading. This is some example text. Okay, and here we can go ahead and mess with the settings a little bit. As you've seen earlier, we have our HTML tags. We can set it as one of the 6 headings, paragraph, span, and div. We can change our text alignment. We can change our maximum width, right? And we can also set a link for it. Next, we have our style page. Let's go ahead and change up the color, red, and then the background color, we can have that be something a bit dark so it's visible. Probably dark blue would be nice. Okay, there we go. And we can enable text gradient, right? And we can set up our text to look kind of cool like that. We can also use a radial pattern, well, cycle linear. We can also change our font size here. And then we can also set it as pixels. We'll probably stick with XL, and we can change line height, right? I'll set that to default. We can change our letter case. And then we have our advanced typography settings here, which is just your fonts. Okay, we'll set it to Georgia. We can make it bold if we wanted to, if that works. And it doesn't. And then we can set it to italics. We can also change our letter spacing. Right, make it wider. We can put a border on this. Okay. And you can set the thickness to maybe 5 pixels. And then we can set up the border radius as well. And then link it, actually. And there we go, 59. It's kind of rounded, like a hot dog. And we can also enable text shadow here. We can make the shadow a bit darker. Okay, and then right, and then we can blur this a bit more. And you can see there is some faint text shadow there. And the text orientation, this one's kind of cool. We can have it normal, down like this way, and this way. Right, and then we can also change the maximum height of this, depending on desktop, tablet, or mobile. Or even we can set this up to be responsive in such a way that on your computer, it would be horizontal, but if you feel like it takes up too much space on mobile device, on your mobile device or mobile devices, you can have this set up sideways like this. It really depends on your use case. We'll just set it up as normal for now, just so it's easier to take a look at. And we can also add an icon to this. Let's just select any generic icon to go to anchor. We can set it left or right. We can change the vertical alignment of this. We can change the height. We can change the icon color to be black at the start, and I believe this one is hover. Yeah, it's hover, but it's not showing up right now. We can also add some padding for this, and then some tooltips icon. And if we hover over it, it should work. Right, and then we can put an indicator here to show that it has something on it, right? But it's currently not working in the preview, and that's typical. And then we have our advanced highlight settings here. We can add text gradient to if we were to highlight the text here. Also change the background if we wanted to. And we can add a border to this and some other text options. Next, we have advanced here, and this is our standard padding margin. Again, as you've seen, block defaults, and our additional CSS, an alternative title for table of contents with interacting with that block, and HTML anchor. Let's go ahead and click on publish to see our finished work and how it actually works on the website. Okay, with that said, let's click on view live page. And here is our text block configured, and we have our tooltip there, and the color of our icon changes, and we have our border, and this is how it looks like. So if you found this video helpful, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, as it really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. Show this kind of video to other nerds like us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.